Hey guys, it's Molly. Today on Frosted, I'm gonna be making an apple layer cake with cream cheese frosting. It's smothered in fluffy cream cheese frosting, nice tartness from the apples, warm spices. This cake is for all the people who wanna love carrot cake but don't. One of the things I love about this cake is that you can make it right into a bowl with no fancy equipment. Start with your dry ingredients. We've got some all-purpose flour. We're gonna add to that ground ginger, cinnamon, baking powder, baking soda, and some kosher salt. Give this a really nice whisk to evenly distribute all the leavener in here. You can really smell the cinnamon and the ginger. Okay, on to the rest of our ingredients. Get a big enough bowl here because everything is gonna end up inside. We've got some brown sugar, and to that I'm gonna add melted butter and 2 eggs. Give this a nice whisk. So easy, right? Now onto our apples. I've got 4 Granny Smith apples, and 2 of them will be grated and 2 of them will be chopped to give it a nice texture. Start by peeling your apples. We're using Granny Smith apples in this cake because they have a really nice tartness and they hold their shape while baking. We're gonna grate half of the apples to impart a really nice apple flavor throughout the cake, and we're gonna dice the other 2 to give the cake a really nice texture. These Granny Smiths will hold their shape, and so you'll get a nice crunch in that soft, moist cake. Another great thing about Granny Smith apples is that they're available year-round and you can count on them to always taste good and be available. I'm gonna start by dicing my apples. We are looking for about a 1/4 inch to a 1/2 inch dice, depending on your preference. I like to just quarter my apples and work with them that way, but you can do it any way that feels comfortable for you. So we've got 2 apples nicely diced, and we're gonna add that right into our bowl of brown sugar. Take our next 2 apples and we're gonna grate them. So start by quartering them the same way. Use the coarsest side of your box grater, so you want them kind of big. Watch your fingertips. I like to stop a little bit before you get to the end so that you don't slice your fingers off, and also so that you can have a snack. So now we have these beautiful grated apples. Add this to the rest of your apples. Give this a nice fold. Apples are always a go-to fruit for pies and tarts, but they really work well in cakes, and it's something that you usually have around the house, so always think about using fruits in different ways. So this is nice and incorporated, and to this we are just going to add our dry ingredients all at once. The cinnamon smells so good. And now we're just gonna fold them in until the dry ingredients are completely absorbed. You might notice that the batter to this cake seems relatively thick now, but as you mix, you'll notice the juices of the apples kind of leaking and it getting to a really nice, moist consistency. This batter is going into 3 8-inch pans. I know 3, most people don't have 3. This cake is worth going out and getting that pan. If not, you can use 2 9-inch pans and make your cake that way. I'm using a cup measure and just kind of eyeballing it. And now you just want to spread your batter evenly in your pan. I like to use a mini offset spatula. It's my favorite kitchen utensil. I love seeing all the grated and diced apple in here. It's really nice to have fun texture in a cake that you're not expecting. Get these into the oven, and while they're baking, we are going to make the fluffiest cream cheese frosting you've ever seen. We're gonna start with 3 bars of cream cheese in here. I know it seems like a lot, but this cake needs a lot of fluff. You wanna make sure that your cream cheese is room temperature, and you wanna start by beating it on its own just to get rid of any lumps that might occur if it's just a little too cold. Once your cream cheese is nice and smooth and you're sure there are no lumps, you can add your room temperature butter. You can cut your butter into smaller pieces just to kind of help it along. Whip this at high speed to get a lot of air incorporated to get this to be really fluffy. So don't be afraid of speed here. Crank it all the way up. Let this fluff itself up for about 3 to 5 minutes. Halfway through, you want to scrape down your bowl. Okay, see this? This is lighter in color, a good indication that we've whipped this well enough. And now we're going to add our sifted powdered sugar, just a little bit at a time. And once you can see it's kind of absorbed, you can crank it up just a little bit. Oh, almost forgot. 2 pinches of salt. This is just gonna bring out a little bit of all the flavors in here and cut the sweetness just a little bit. You can just give your bowl a little spank just to get some of that loose powdered sugar in there. Or a love tap. Got the last of our powdered sugar. So on low until it's incorporated, and then all the way up for another 3 minutes to really get this nice, light and fluffy. Wow, this is so fluffy. I mean, this is the good stuff. This frosting tends to get a little soft if it gets warm, so don't be afraid to throw it into the fridge to chill for a few minutes. It's gonna help you later on when you're building your cake. Okay, it's game time. These are our cooled baked layers. You can see the dice, the shredded. It looks so good. It smells even better. Let's go. Start with a nice heaping cup, and with an offset, spread it evenly across the layer. I've missed this. This is so light that it almost feels like you're not even touching frosting. Don't worry about the borders. We are gonna clean all this up later. Just focus on getting a nice even layer of frosting. Second layer. Okay, last layer. If you want it to be flat, you can flip it over and place it down this way, but I'm going all upwards. And now we just want to cover this cake just to hold everything in place. I finished my crumb coat. I'm gonna get this cake in the fridge for about 20 minutes, let it settle into itself, give me a nice blank canvas to finish frosting in just a little bit. Okay, we're back. After 20 minutes, this is set enough that everything feels secure in place and you can be a little more heavy-handed with the frosting that you put on now. We're just going to dollop some more, and dollop some more. This is where you get to choose how you want to frost this cake. If you want this to be straight edged, little swoopy swoops. Let's see. I know I love my baby offset, but the large offset can give you some really nice straight edges here. So if you don't have a bench scraper, you can just hold it flush, flat against the cake and spin it, and it's gonna collect the excess frosting. And then for the top, you're just gonna pull in. And then one more time, making sure to get all the way to the edge, the very top. Okay, this is looking pretty good to me. And then if you have just some little raised edges, you can take your offset and just pull towards the center. I think I'm kind of feeling the straight edged here. I like the height that it has. I'm normally a swoopy swoop person, but I am gonna give it a little something on the top. So I am gonna switch over to my baby. Hold your offset in center, lightly pressing down as you turn, give it a nice little texture on the top. And just go back to your regular large offset. Hold it flush against the side of the cake. Fix those top edges to give you a nice clean edge. I feel good about this. I'm gonna get this in the fridge, just let it set, transfer it to my final serving platter, and then decorate it with some beautiful homemade apple chips. It smells like a fall candle in here, cinnamon, apple. I'm going to just finish it with some homemade apple chips. And my tip to you to get these nice stars in the center of them is to slice your apple on its side. So you want to start from the bottom and you want to slice thinly this way through the center. You might have a little difficulty when you get to the seeds, but that's all right, just push through. And then they just bake in a low oven on their own till they're done. Depending on how you decorated this cake, you can either garnish on the top of the cake, you can put them around the side, but since we have this nice little swirl, I'm just gonna go ahead and surround the cake with some nice apple slices. Just wanna press them into the cake so that they stick, and you can do whatever you want. I like a little overlap. Last one. Just tuck this little guy in there. All right, guys, our beautiful apple layer cake is done. It's garnished. So many sweet surprises on the inside and outside. For all you apple lovers out there, this cake is for you.